So this is the complete like course details. Like we have 4 sections in this course. Okay. And we will start by talking, like we'll start by building a foundation, and talking about the very basic topics. We will be installing Python, and like basically we'll not do it in the class. We will be sharing the videos with you so that you can get it installed. In by the next class, I would expect that you are done with installation of Python itself and the Visual Studio Code. And from then on, like in my case, the environment is ready. But like the videos will be shared to you in whatever portal we have given access to you. So there, once you get the videos, your job is to install Python and VS Code for now. And till the time we are done with section 1, you should also get other installations done, like GNS3 and other stuff. Okay. So you will get time for that, but basic Python installation and all you can do by the next class. Okay. Then we will be talking of, like we'll be picking up from very basic topics. What are the different data or object types, type conversion, the print function, type function, all these sort of things. Then we'll discuss about lists, dictionaries, methods, functions, loops, working with files, writing and troubleshooting. And then we will basically, at this point, we will start writing and working with Python scripts. Okay. Then we will further discuss about important Python libraries and packages, like how to work with those libraries and packages that are very important for network engineers specifically. Okay, so we'll like some of those, obviously after discussing things like regular expressions. We will talk about these other libraries. Regular expressions itself is a library, so that's why I've included it there. So that's one important topic. Then these are all ancillary topics that will anyways we'll cover during while covering all this. Then we'll talk about Paramiko, NetMiko, Napalm, 3 libraries. And then these are the libraries that help you work with the CLI of the devices, command line interface. Okay, so I think that will be more than enough. And one more library that we'll discuss here is telnetlib. So even that helps you work with the CLI. So CLI part is good enough, till more than enough. We've covered it in good detail, because I know most of you would, if you would try to automate stuff, you will have access to the CLI only. So we are going to spend good time there. Okay. Then we'll talk about data encoding formats like JSON, XML, and YAML. We'll talk about the respective libraries that you can use in Python to work with all these formats of data and why they are required. Then we will move on to slightly advanced topics, that is talking about APIs and Yang data modeling. What is data modeling, why it is required, and things like that. And then we'll talk about the different type of APIs, whether it is REST API or RPC type of APIs, which includes netconf, and the libraries in Python that help you work with all these type of protocols. And how you can interact with your devices using all these protocols. And on the client side, we'll be writing scripts to do that interaction. Okay. Then we'll also talk about RESTconf, and we will use it against a Cisco IOS XE device. Okay. And we'll also learn about Postman and how you can use Postman tool to interact with any API. And then we will move on to talking about the Cisco Viptela SD-WAN APIs, where vManage is the main controller there. So we will work with that API so that all your concepts get clarified. And then at the end of it, we will also not just interact with the API using Postman. We will also basically write Python scripts that and will build out a complete use case out of the SD-WAN API. Okay, like how can you automate doing SD-WAN configurations completely, so that whole it will act like a small project at the end. Okay, clear? Any doubts? If you want to take snapshots or anything, you can do that. It's available on your screen. Otherwise, I can obviously put it in the chat, and you can copy it to your local PCs.
A small doubt.
Yeah.
By learning this, as we say in the last step or step 4, as we learning this, we can automate, or we can only means we are learning a specific product type of APIs, or we can use the generic APIs technology and we can build up any other like firewalls or any other networks.
Yeah.
There will be open source API. We can get to that APIs and we can also learn them. Yes.
Yes. So basically, once you interact with one API, it's just a matter of reading the documentation of other APIs and doing similar stuff with those. Okay. So there's not that much difference. If you know how to work with one API, it's very similar to other APIs.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Message is long, it's not allowing me to send the whole message.
Sir, it would be better if you could share this document, or if that can be attached over the call.
It's just that I'm not really sure when I'll be able to do that. That's why I'm sharing it right now, so that that like when your portal will be ready and all these things. So
yeah, okay, sir, that is also
because
I'm not sure. Davinder has already asked, and I do have the same question. Like, if I learn all these concepts, would that cover the NAuto?
Yeah, NAuto, there are few more products. Okay. There's in NAuto there is like DNA Center is also covered and Meraki is also covered, right? So again, the thing is you will be able to work with those APIs also. Just by going through the API documentation and going on to their website, all these products. Like the only problem there is while teaching, sometimes like Viptela you immediately get access to, but other products don't generally you get access to very often. And like when I've scheduled a class and everything, and I'm not able to get access, it keeps getting delayed, and unnecessary the net new learning is not that much. In like when you go from one product to other product, like the same API get request, post requests are happening. So even if you follow the Cisco's workbook on their on their website, it's called, I'll show you actually very quickly. If you go to developer.cisco.com and go to their sandbox, like once you know how to work with one API, it's very easy to work with other APIs also, right? So you will find the documentation of all other APIs also there. It's just that sometimes you don't get access to all these things when you need it, and that kind of delays. That's why I removed it. And anyways, the net new learning was not there to that extent. So if you go there, let's say go for Meraki API view doc. The Meraki API documentation is also available. Every documentation is available here, but we will work with one API documentation. For others, I'll show you later on, but like they have their own workbook that you can go through very quickly, and you can book a lab, and you have that workbook available to you. You just go through that and you will learn. It's as easy as that. Okay.
Thanks, sir. This Meraki, like tier 1 service providers won't be like working on Merakis and stuff, right? So
yeah. DNA Center, Meraki, but in some cases, like if you're working, like there are certain teams which handle customer networks. So So certain customers do have Meraki and DNA Center in their environments, but very less chance that if you're working, like there are very few teams that work on that side of the network. If you're working on the core network, you don't need to learn all that. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Moving on. Yes, Davinder, go ahead.
Sorry. Ansible is most asked question during the exam or interview as well. So will we cover this?
Yeah, Ansible, again, as I told you in the previous session also, once you learn all this, we will say, like for example, we will be talking about YAML, and one thing I haven't mentioned here is Jinja 2, which we will need to do in this project. Okay, so once you learn Jinja 2 and YAML, these topics as it is carry forward for Ansible also. Okay, so you can take any like 2-3 hour course on Ansible and you will be good for Ansible also. Okay, so most of the base building topics will cover for Ansible also. Okay, got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but the only reason is that I'm pretty sure like if I cover Ansible towards the end, only 1 or 2 people will be there to listen. From my experience, I can tell. Okay, I've delivered over, I think I would have delivered somewhere in the ballpark of 30-40 batches. Towards the end, only 3-4 students come. Others, I don't know what happens. They start to drop out. So I want to keep the course crisp enough so that maximum knowledge I'm able to deliver. And still keep you interested. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's start. So this beautiful gentleman that you see on your screen, his name is Guido van Rossum. Okay, he is the creator of Python. Okay, and he was working for some organization where they were working on creating another like high level language, but over the time he realized that that whatever language they were creating is not going to solve a lot of problems. So what he did, he started at his own home, he started creating Python, and he started out as a fun activity, but then slowly when he published the project and like people started picking it up, it became very very famous because it was so easy to work with, and it could do a lot of things, and it was like a general purpose language. Basically you could build anything, and today if we look at Python, the way it has developed, we can literally build any piece of software using Python. When I say any piece of software, you can literally build websites out of it, and you can go and build like complete softwares that run on your systems, on your PCs and Macs and whatever. Okay, so like if you are investing your time learning Python, and you can basically make a career out of it, you can like keep learning as you go ahead, and like even in like lot of public facing companies and a lot of public facing products, Python is used in the background. Maybe they don't use it for the whole product, but some portions of it, like even if you look at an example like Udemy website, right? It's built using Django, which is a Python web development framework. It's like a framework, and there are certain files that you get, and there's a library called Django included, which can help you build a complete website. So even Udemy uses Django, which is built using Python. And obviously I'm not saying that complete Udemy website works only using Python, but a big portion of it, or the core of it, is using Python. So similarly, a lot of other examples are also out there. Okay, then it's open source and it's free for everyone to download and use it. That's the best part. And helps with the popularity also. Then moving on, there let's talk about the Python packages. As I was discussing in the previous class also, a lot of people from different different domains within the IT, they started using Python to write code for their own use and their own applications. Like someone from the data science domain created a library called NumPy, for example. That same library can be used for by let's say a server engineer who is trying to analyze some data. Okay, it's very good. That particular library is very good with processing larger amounts of data. So if let's say you someday end up with a use case where you have to process a lot of data and look for patterns and things like that, you can use that library in your for your purpose. Okay, so over the time, a very big community has been developed, and these people are, whatever they are trying to solve, whatever problem they are trying to solve in their environment, they are creating libraries or packages. It's the same name, don't get confused between packages and libraries, it's the same thing. They are writing a lot of code and packaging it and creating libraries and packages which anyone else can download. So if you are set to build out any application or create or write code for your use case, automating your use case, you can like pick and choose all these libraries which will work best for you. Like let's say you have to work with Excel, so you can download a library, you can go on the internet, find out which library will be the best for your particular use case. If you have to do something specific with Excel sheets, you can, like, there will be 5 different libraries. If you have to do something very basic, you can probably get one of the easier to work with libraries and get done with it. If you have to do something more complex like data analysis or something like that, probably you can use a more slightly complex library that has been developed for those kind of use cases. So a lot of options are there basically for you, and you can pick and choose these libraries, and with a very quick turnaround time, you can get your use case or your application up and running. Okay, so that's the beauty of Python. That is the reason why it is attracting more and more people towards it, because over the time, lot of these packages and these sort of things are being developed, and everyone can benefit from these things. Okay, then the main versions of Python are version 2.x and 3.x. So currently we are on 3.x. I think we're somewhere on 3.12 or something. 3.12, or I think we have moved to 3.13 or something like that maybe. For the foreseeable future, I don't see a version 4.x coming. It's only going to be version 3. A lot of major developments have been done within version 3 itself, and 2.x has been basically is fading over time and will be completely removed. The support has been removed already. No longer, like, if there are communities and those sort of things where you can go and ask questions, but obviously on the internet there are a lot of places where if you are still using version 2.x in certain applications, you can go and ask people and take help from people. But officially the documentation, all those sort of things have been, if not, they are being removed from the python.org website, right? So it's 3.x, that's the mainstay, and we'll also be working with 3.x. I have a fairly new version, but you guys can get the latest version of Python when you do the installation. So yeah, for us, it does not matter that much. Like if you are on 3.10 versus if you are on 3.12 or whatever, it does not make that much of a difference. Okay, so like, you don't have to be very specific about which version you are using, as long as you're using one of the latest versions. Okay, cool. Any doubts till now?
water packages, are they like the GitHub
Yeah.
repositories we see?
Yeah. So the next topic, we're going to talk about that in detail. But basically, if I had to give you a one-line answer, it is basically someone else's code that you can use for yourself. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So someone else tried to solve a problem, wrote code to solve that problem. He saw that a lot of other people would also benefit because they might also run into similar problems that I was running into, and they basically decide to create a package. Sometimes certain companies, like in our case, like as network engineers, you will see that a lot of companies are also creating packages. Like you will see a lot of packages coming out from Cisco and Juniper and so on. Like in Juniper, they have this package called PyEasy. In from Cisco, there are multiple packages that have come out. There's a package called Genie, and I think there's one more. I'm forgetting its name, but a lot of packages related to a lot of products also. Like there would be a package for Viptela, there will be a package for Meraki, DNA Center, and so on. So a lot of these packages keep coming out, okay, from companies also, so that it can help people like working with their products to certain extent. Okay.
okay. They are not used for automating our coding jobs, right? It's not like that.
No, like we will be using them to automate the work.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone?
How long does this course go? Like for how many months?
2 to 3 months, anywhere.
Okay.
Ballpark, yeah. Very high chance that it will go above 3 months. Like it depends. Like if you guys, like I don't have any stringent timelines. Like if you guys are contributing in terms of your questions and doubts and so on, we like it's up to that. Like if you need more time, we'll give more time. That's it. It's very simple. Okay. Okay, so if you stay silent, I can complete it in very less time, but obviously that's not the goal here. Okay, so the first topic that we are going to talk about today is pip. Okay, now what is pip? Now, as you might have realized from my introductions, that these packages are sort of an important deal, right? These libraries are sort of an important deal. While I was going through the syllabus, or while I was going through my introduction of Python, or even when we were talking about Python yesterday, you might have realized that I might have used by now the word package or libraries hundreds of times, right? So these are sort of an important deal in Python. So now, although we'll be talking about individual packages later, but we need to talk about how to manage all these packages. Okay, so pip is basically Python's own package management system. Okay, so right, so what happens is like packages can be like made available to the users in many different ways. Like you can directly download it from places like GitHub, where generally these packages are hosted for everyone to see, and like if anyone wants to go through the code of a particular package, that for those reasons generally they are hosted on GitHub or similar websites. Like there are other websites like GitLab and Bitbucket and all these websites. These are all code management or code maintenance, you can say, or remote repository websites. We'll probably discuss about them a little later, but they are hosted publicly, so that anyone can use it. But if you want that your package is sort of used in a more official way, and you want pip to be able to directly download it, and people can all like easily download it and install it, what you can do is on python.org is like the main website, but it has another website associated, which is the PyPy, okay, Python package index website. So you can host your packages on this website, okay. And if your website, if your package is hosted on this website, you can directly use pip to download and install these packages, okay. Now what's the full form of pip very quickly? So it's a recursive acronym, which the full form is pip installs packages. So in the full form of pip, again pip is coming, okay. So short form, they've used pip install packages because that is like the 90% of the use, 90, or I would say even 99% of the use for most people. 1% you can use it for other purposes also. We will discuss what all things you can do with it, but that is the reason why people use pip most of the time. So that's why they named it like that only, pip installs packages, okay. So so let's quickly go. Let me go on the website and show
So
you.
just one small query. By package, here means code, right? I'm not able to draw that picture in my mind. So by package, it's a code, right?
Yeah.
Which is already established by someone else.
Yeah. Good question. I'll quickly show you. Okay. Instead of talking about it, I'll show it to you directly what I'm talking about. So, like for example,
Amit,
yeah.
Yes, Amit, sorry for the interruption. For example, I write
don't need to be sorry, guys.
Hello?
You have full right to ask questions. Don't say sorry. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Suppose I wrote a simple program where I've included addition and subtraction. Okay, I made that program as a package, and I want to recall that package in my program, in my code. Okay, so if we're gonna upload that particular piece of code in the python.org, it will be chargeable or something that I need to pay, or it's free?
No, it's free. Yeah. Okay.
Anything I can write, it will be free, right?
Yeah, it will be free, but it's not as simple as that. It's not like just you have to write one script and it becomes a package. You have to, like, encapsulate it. You need to have some additional files and things like that to make it a complete package. Okay. So like you have to actually package it to make it a package. Okay. So there are a lot of other things involved. Yeah. But yeah, it's not that simple that you create one script and it becomes a package. But yes, to some extent you can say it works like that only. Okay. So let's look at one package and let me take the discussion from there. Okay. So NetMiko is one package that's like very famous within the network community. So if I just search for NetMiko, it comes out as a project here. Okay, and if I like the first result is for NetMiko, I'll click on that, and if you see like what all information do we have about NetMiko on PyPy? Let's see that. So it has like a project description, release history. If I click on release history, it shows me all the different releases of this package. And if I want to download the files, that complete package has been converted into a packaged into a tar file, which can be downloaded if you want to sometimes what happens is, like, if you want to download it on a server which does not have internet access or something like that, in those cases you might want to download it in this way, and then you go on to that server, transfer the file on that server, and then install it using other methods. But If your device has internet access, you just have to run this one command, pip install netmiko, and it will automatically download and install the package for you. Fine. Now, there's a short description: multi-vendor library to simplify legacy CLI connections to network devices, whatever. Okay, then it will talk about who is the main maintainer, who are if you want to know more about it, like who are the people who are contributing to it, writing this, then you can go to the repository. Now, generally repositories you will find are hosted on this important website called GitHub. Okay, it was an independent website earlier, but now Microsoft owns this. Okay, GitHub. If you want to use it for a official purpose where you don't want to show your code outside of your organization, then you have to buy their premium subscription. But if you want to host anything that will be like publicly available for anyone to see, in those cases it is free. Like even you can create an account and you can host your own code, and which is something that you should be doing also. If you in your resumes also, you can basically call those links and show people what sort of projects you worked on, and what, like, obviously don't reveal anything that is a company secret or confidential information. So don't besides that, if anything you want to share, you can put it here. Okay, in a similar way, this person called KT Byers, okay, he is the maintainer of this library, and the actual code of the library is hosted here. So the complete code inside the library is hosted here, and this is this is the output of one file called the readme.md file. It's a markdown file where it can nicely when you look at the actual file, it will have it looks like a very normal text file and everything, and it has links to the different pictures and all those things, but once it is rendered, it looks somewhat like this. Okay, so in this the creator of the library has talked about the library, what it does and things like that, what all you can do with it, and how it works. So things like that are explained in the readme.md file. Fine. Now let's look at the code part. Okay, so in the code, although we have a specific topic where we'll discuss this in detail, but since you've asked me a doubt, let me go inside. So every library, the main folder will be having the name of the library. Inside that, generally you will find another folder with the same name, and this is the folder where the main code exists. Like if you go inside, you will see that a lot of these files are there. Okay, within this folder, within the netmiko folder, all these different files exist, and these files basically will have .py or Python files or Python scripts inside them, .py files. Okay, these individual files that you see, .py, even in the main folder, if I go back to the main folder, if I go down here also, you will see .py files. So all these files are something called modules. Okay, these are individual modules. So what happens is when you write a create a library, it's generally not for a very simple one use case only. It is built in a way so that multiple things can be achieved with it, or over the time at least it becomes in a way that as you keep on writing code, as more people contribute to your library, you try to deal with more and more use cases. Like for example, when netmiko was developed, it would only cater to few devices, probably 3 or 4 types of devices, or 3 to 4 different vendors like Cisco, Juniper and so on, all the important ones. But over time, when people started contributing to it, and the creator of the library also wrote more code, and troubleshooting code happened, and all these things happened, they kept on adding more and more code and more device or vendor support. Okay, so you will see a lot of vendors here that you might be working with in your day-to-day jobs. Okay, So all these firewalls are there, like for example Palo Alto and whatever. Then you have, you know, Ubiquiti, Yamaha, and obviously Cisco is there, Juniper is there, HP is there, Fortinet. So F5, Extreme, Ericsson. So all these vendor like support they kept adding, and as a result, to handle like one use case or to deal with like one particular task, these modules get created. These .py files keep getting added to your package. So these individual .py files are called modules. Understood? Any doubts? Like if I go inside one of the files, you will see the actual Python code. Okay, fine. So don't get overwhelmed by looking at this very long file. These very long files are written so that you don't have to write such a long code to achieve that use case. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts? Akanksha, is your doubt clear now? All good?
Yeah, mine got clear.
Sorry, sir. Actually, for 2 minutes, there was
Your voice is breaking.
It might be the case. So I just
Okay.
missed the last content. Yeah, from here. So Netmico is one of the package, correct?
Yes, yes. Your voice broke completely.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to establish connection using mobile hotspot.
Okay, no issues. So these are all modules within the package. Okay, you can
Okay.
go through the recording also later on.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. So, these packages have different Python scripts in them, which basically cater to different use cases, like minor use cases. Like if you want to transfer files using this package, it will use the SCP, So as probably these two files, but the way these files will be called in your script, you don't have to like worry too much about them. The provisions will be made for you to easily use this, or use these files. Okay, so these are called modules. Fine. Now let's come back to our discussion on, like, we discussed about what are packages and where they are hosted generally. Obviously directly from GitHub also, like if I want the most latest code which is not even hosted on PyPy, I can obviously come here and I can download it from here and I can install it myself also. There are ways to do that also. Okay, and if you just want to see who have been using it and who have been contributing to it, like there are 220 people who have like contributed to it. Okay, they might have made a very small change here and there. They might have corrected just one spelling mistake in some document, or they might have done a very big contribution, like added the support for a particular type of device or something like that. Okay, or solved a very big bug, or very big issue in the particular package. So any sort of contributions they might have made in the library, and if you are allowed to make any contribution, or any change that you submit has to be approved by the maintainer, who is KT Byers, and probably might have given that access to few more people. So once your change or your inputs are approved, you will be counted in as a contributor to the package. Okay, so necessarily you don't need to create your own libraries. You can always, like, if you know that okay, this library already exists and making this one minor change in the library will solve my problem, you can submit it as a contribution in the existing this thing. There are a lot of things that you need to do. You'll have to fork the whole code and then edit the code and then submit it using a git request, and once it is approved, it will get added to the main code, and probably whenever the next version of the library comes, it might show up in the library. Okay, so that is how things work in this domain. Clear? Now let's talk about pip. Okay, how pip, what are the different things we need to do with pip? Okay, so if I, first of all, like in the case if you're using Linux or something else, just pip won't work. You will have to use pip 3 to denote version 3. Okay, and if you want to use Python, it will never be Python, it will be Python 3, and Python, just Python will correspond to Python version 2. So to be to make it relevant in the case of like a Mac or a Linux, you will have to use that 3 also at the end. Okay, but in the case of Windows, you're good with just pip. Okay, so if I do pip and --help, okay, it gives me all the various options that you can use with pip. So there are a lot of options, but we are going to discuss probably 3, 4 or 5 of them today, and like the more complexer options, anyways you don't need them to that extent, because those are for advanced users who actually maybe are creating their own packages and things like that. Those people need to use those options, but in a day-to-day sort of a scenario, you don't need to use all of them. Okay, so we're going to talk about install, download, uninstall, freeze, list, and probably 1 or 2 more. Pip show also we'll discuss. Okay, so these are the important ones, and then further you have more options that you can use. Okay, we'll probably discuss 1 or 2 of these options also. Okay, so with that, you should be good with your, like, pretty much with all sort of requirements. So now first thing is, like, if you want to see all the packages that are existing on your or installed on your PC right now, what you will do is you will say pip list. Okay, when you hit enter, it will like list out all the different packages that are currently installed on your PC, including the version of the package that is installed. Clear? So very simple command, pip list. Okay, then let's talk about how you can work with these different packages or libraries. Okay, so let me do one thing. I have this particular library pip, this particular library called requests. Okay, so let me first go ahead and uninstall it. Okay, so if you see currently it exists between py, zm, q and rich. Okay, so I'll go ahead and uninstall it first of all. Okay, so now if I do pip list again, you will see that it's gone from here. It was existing between these two, so it is uninstalled first of all. Now I'll go ahead and install it back. Okay, so now if you see the one that I uninstalled last time, request, it was 2.28.1. okay, this was the version on which I was on, and when I uninstalled it, it got uninstalled. But now when if you can see here also, I can show you the successfully uninstalled requests -2.28.1. that was the version, okay, that we uninstalled. But when I installed it back, I said pip install request. You see the version that got installed was 2.32.3. okay, which is a more recent version, or the most recent version got installed. Clear? Any doubts till now? Now why did that happen? Now what pip does is it whenever you give that command pip install and give any library name, like in that case it was showing netpico. This time I'm working with requests. Okay, so when I asked pip to do it, it will basically go and check with python package index to see if requests has a, like, what is the most recent version of request. Like if I go on PyPy right now and here I search for requests, it is one of the libraries. Okay, so if I see release history, you will see that 2.32.3 is the most recent version. Okay, and I was probably on this one 2.28.1, okay, which is an older version, and now we are on 2.32.3. Clear? Any doubts till now? Okay, so now
Just a second. That
yeah,
pip is not working on my PC.
yeah, it will not work because you have to install Python to get access to it. Okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so yeah, once Python is installed, pip will automatically show up. Okay, so I'll share the videos with you in your portal, and all that is explained there also. Okay,
Hi Amit, Anand this
yeah,
side.
yeah,
So the NetMeco module is used for doing the SSH to the network device, right?
yeah, yes,
Yeah, just to reconfirm on that. Actually.
yeah, I think you've just joined, right, Anand?
Yeah, I just missed that one actually.
Okay, no issues. You can listen to the recording. Everything has been discussed in detail.
Yeah, thanks, Amit.
Okay, fine. So now moving on, we have already discussed uninstall and we have already discussed install. Now let's say that for some reason whatever code I had written. Now before that, let's discuss one more important thing. If you see here, if I have just installed the request library. Okay, it downloaded the request library, but then it also, like in my case, the requirements were already satisfied because some of these libraries already existed. But if you see, it tried to install few more libraries, like it tried to install IDNA, it tried to install URL lib3, character set normalizer, and then certify. So all these other libraries also it was trying to install automatically. Okay, but I only tried to download and install the request library. So why did it try to install all these other libraries also? So the reason for that is that even when you are creating a library yourself, it does not mean that all the functions that your library has to do or you want your library to do will you will write the code for all those purposes or all those functions or all those features. Some features, like when you are creating a library, you will also take the help of other libraries. Clear? You will also take the help of other libraries to solve for certain features or certain functions or certain requirements. Clear? So those libraries that in a way you can call those libraries dependencies, because the functioning of your library depends on those libraries. Okay, so all these libraries that pip tried to install itself are called dependencies. Okay, so if I want to clearly see what are the dependencies of requests, I will use another pip command, which is pip show requests. Okay, so here you will see that it has this particular column called requires, and it has all these library names there: certify, character set normalizer, IDNA, URL lib3. You will see all these names are the same here as well. Okay, so and you will see that I have certain, like I have a few more libraries here which have a dependency on the requests library to work. Okay, like I have this library called Viptela, which helps me interact with Cisco SD-WAN, REST API. So that library also uses requests in the background. Okay, understood? So like required by and what it requires. You understood what it means? Like this library is required by these libraries on my PC, and this library to work itself will require these libraries. Understood that part? Any doubts?
Not for now.
I did not catch that, Anand. What are you trying to say?
I was saying not for now actually.
Okay. Yes, Sandesh.
So library need libraries to work.
Yes. Yes. Libraries need other libraries to work themselves. Okay.
So the bare metal, sorry, not bare metal, the bare compiler of the language is Python itself.
Yeah. Like the code for request or the code for all these libraries is written in Python only. Everything is Python. Okay. You're not going outside Python. No? Okay. But the thing is, like, what happens is there is a common saying in the programming world. That common saying, like you will find this being said for other reasons also, but that common saying is don't reinvent the wheel. ठीक है ना, किसी ने व्हील पहले से बना दिया है तो व्हील बनाने में टाइम मत वेस्ट करो, गाड़ी बनाने में टाइम लगाओ, अपने टाइप की गाड़ी बनाओ, अपने लिए गाड़ी बनाओ, ठीक है ना. बिल्ड अ कार और पर्टिकुलर यूज केस फॉर योर सेल्फ. डोंट इन्वेस्ट टू मच टाइम इन बिल्डिंग द व्हील अगेन, राइट. सो इफ सर्टिफाई does something very nicely, the creator of request will just use certify. He will not waste his time to build whatever certify does. Probably request library will use certify, I think, when it is trying to create a HTTP session with the server at that time, to basically maybe to deal with the certificates that are shared from the server side and from the client side to server side, whatever that interaction happens, probably certify would help in those kind of interactions. So instead of writing code for that particular application or that particular requirement, he just used that library to save their time. Okay, you understood why dependencies happen?
Yes, understood.
Okay. So that he can focus on the main part, like what he's trying to solve for. Yes. Okay.
That can be anything, right?
All these are library names, right?
Yes. All of these are, like, if I pick up any of these libraries, like URL lib3, for example, I can go anything. I can go here, URL lib3, search it, you will find that it is also a library. Okay.
So and you run the command pip show request. So it is one command, right?
Yeah, pip show, pip install, and all these things.
We have to run pip in the very beginning before running show request in Python.
No, show request is the name of library. Pip show is the command. Okay. Clear? I could do the same for, like, for example, pip show netmiko. We were discussing this, right? So if I do pip show netmiko, like this library netmiko has a dependency on all these libraries. Okay, to function properly, to be able to do all the jobs that it does, it requires all these libraries. Okay, for example, in the case of netmiko, when you have to establish SSH sessions with the device, paramiko is a library that has been already created before netmiko to handle SSH sessions. Okay, now SSH session could be formed with your servers also. All sort of devices have SSH sessions, but for specific, like, vendors or network device vendors, the parameters of these sessions vary. Like for example, one of the parameters is login prompt. Like when you log in the case of a Cisco, it shows username colon and then it asks for username and then password colon. Whereas if you go to Juniper device, instead of saying username, it will have something like login, right? Am I right? You all agree? So Juniper's
Yes.
login prompt will look somewhat like this, and Cisco's login prompt will look somewhat like this. Okay. So now the creator of NetMiko wants to focus on all these sort of things. Okay, how to work with different kinds of network devices. He does not want to focus on how to create that TCP session, that SSH session, how to encrypt packet, decrypt packet. That is already solved by Paramiko. So he will just pick up one Paramiko and start writing his own code to solve for all these kind of things. Okay. So that is the story about packages. Now let's talk about one more thing. Okay. One next thing is pip download. Okay. So pip now when you do pip install, okay, when I ran this command pip install requests, what happened is automatically pip download was also run, and that is why the downloading of the request library happened from PyPy website. So if you have a requirement where you want to download the package but you don't want to install it, you will use the pip download command. Okay, so download is, you can say, half of pip install in a way. Understood? Very simple. So let's move ahead. Now let's discuss one more problem. In this case, I downloaded and installed the request library and I got the latest version. But let's say that I've written code, and whatever code I've written is using, let's say, 2.28 something version. Okay. And I was using certain feature of the request library for which the code is written in 2.28 something version of request library. As soon as I upgrade to 2.32, my code stops running, or that feature has been removed, or the way you use that feature has been changed in the latest version, or something like that happened, and it renders my code useful. Okay, just because I upgraded the library or I upgraded the package. So what can I do in that case? Basically, I want to go back to the older version of the package, right? So what I will do is I will uninstall the request library. Okay, and if you see, I have uninstalled the 2.32.3 version. Okay, and now I want to go back to the older version or a very specific version of requests. So what I'll do, I'll say pip install requests and I will put 2.28.2. So sorry. Okay, so in this way I can download that specific version, requests equal to, and I will give the exact version number. So what it will do, it will automatically go ahead and like search for that package. In this case, since I was on this package earlier, like this was like in my mere cache, it was stored in my cache somewhere, so it just got that and installed it. Okay, it using, here it is mentioned also, using cached request 2.28.2, and it just reinstalled that. Okay, if it did not find the cached version, it will go on the internet and get that version from PyPy website. Clear? Any doubts?
No, it's clear.
Yeah. Okay, so one more important thing. Now you understood like these kind of problems happen, that if you just change the version of your package or of your library, sometimes your code might not function properly. Okay, generally it does not happen to that extent, let me tell you. So don't be afraid that you will be caught up in just looking after the versions of packages, but let's say it happens. Okay, so let's say whatever code you are writing, you are going to share it with 5 other people in your team. Okay, so let's take my example. Let's say Amit is writing the code, and Amit is going to share the code with Anand, Akanksha, Davinder, and so on, Sandesh, all of you. Okay, now the problem is that my code I works on 2.28.2 and I'm using probably 10-20 different libraries in my code to build that use case, to do some kind of configuration on the devices, or to generate configuration or whatever my requirement was. For that requirement I ended up using 10 different libraries. Okay, now either I can send you a message saying, okay, these are the 10 libraries and these are the exact version numbers that are running on my PC where this code works. My code is working properly on my PC. So if you want to ensure that the code also runs on your PCs, you install these specific versions of the libraries. And what you will do, you will be running commands somewhat like this. Okay, where you will be uninstalling your older, older packages, whatever you had installed, and you will be, for all those 10 libraries, you will be installing those specific versions which I sent you in the message. Okay, either you can do it like this, or what's the other way, the easier way. There's a command called freeze. Okay, pip freeze, and after the freeze, what you will say, you will put this caret sign and you will give the path. So currently to run this command, it's better to be at the proper path so that you don't have to write the full path in the command itself. Like for example, I'll move to desktop. Okay, and here I will run this command pip freeze, and I will call the file name as requirements.txt. Okay, I'll hit enter, and on my desktop, let me get hold of it and let me try to show it to you. This file was created, requirements.txt. As you can see, it is on desktop. Okay, you can see the path, right? So this file was created, and in this file, if you see, all the libraries that are on my PC along with their version numbers as it is have been put, okay, in the file. Okay, now I will share, instead of sharing that message, like whenever I share the Python scripts or whatever the project files are, so that you can also run that project on your PCs, along with that project files, in that same folder I will put this file also, requirements.txt. Okay, now you all received that folder, or where all the Python scripts and all other files that are required to run the project. Along with those, you will get this file also, requirements.txt. Now what you will do is, you will simply go in your terminal, open, like if there is any project folder, you will go in that folder, cd project or whatever the project is, you will go in that folder so that you get access to this file. Okay, and then you will run one simple command, which is pip install -r. Okay, install from a requirements file, so -r. So, and then you will give the name of the file. Okay, and hit enter. Now what will happen? Automatically all your libraries will be installed according to the versions that were mentioned in the file. So if 10 libraries are mentioned in this, the 10 libraries with that exact same version number will get installed on your PC also, and you will be able to run the project as I was able to run it. Clear? Understood what pip freeze is for?
Yes, Amit.
Okay. Okay, so now that was the discussion on pip. Any other doubts? Okay, fine. Let's move on to the next topic, although we have just 6 minutes left. Let's see what we are able to cover in that time. So now one important thing, once Python is installed on your PC properly, if you run the command Python here and hit enter on your terminal, you will be able to access the Python shell. Now this is called the Python shell. Okay, these 3 caret signs you will see, which represent a particular prompt. Okay, so Python shell looks like quite similar to our network devices also, or even our PC. Even that has a prompt where you can enter your commands. But inside the Python shell, you don't enter commands necessarily. You enter individual Python code lines. Okay, individual code lines you can enter, and if you want to see how a particular code line will behave or how it works or what it does, you can like either individual lines or like smaller group of Python statements you can enter directly in the Python shell. Okay, so sometimes it helps you with testing your code. Like if you want to see what a particular like 5 lines of code will do, 10 lines of code will do, what is the result of running these 5-10 lines of code, you can go into your Python shell and try those there instead of writing it in a script and running it in one go. Although it is used very less, generally people सीधा स्क्रिप्ट कोई रन करके ट्राई कर लेते हैं, डायरेक्टली दे विल रन द स्क्रिप्ट एंड ट्राई देयर इटसेल्फ. Okay, but in certain scenarios, like there are people who might want to use like कुछ scenarios, sometimes scenarios become like this that you want to use the Python shell. Okay, now this is the basic Python shell. Okay, and you can see the version of Python that is installed on my PC. It is 3.10.4 and like all other details about this particular version, and I am in the shell. If I want to exit the shell, I will enter exit and open and close round brackets or parentheses, whatever you want to call them, and hit enter. Okay, and in this way I will exit. Now there's one library called IPython, okay, which you can install by entering the command pip install IPython and hit enter. Once Python is installed, you will get access to pip also, and when you will do pip install IPython, this library will get installed. Now this library enables you to do one thing, that is the same Python shell that I was accessing by typing in Python. You can access, instead of typing in Python, this time I will type IPython. Okay, IPython is nothing but that same Python shell encapsulated in a slightly more enhanced interactive sort of a interface. Okay, so like you will get these inputs and all these sort of things, which will also do color coding for you. Like if I do 5 plus 5 or whatever, color coding is also being done. Like the numbers are being color coded in green, the operator sign, the plus sign is being color coded in white, and so on. So all these color codings are happening so that it is like much more understandable and things like that. Okay, much more easier to read the code. So all these things are happening in the terminal, and that is why it's nice to have IPython, which is an interactive version, enhanced interactive Python. But in the background, it's nothing, it's doing nothing special, but it is passing these inputs to this shell, the same old plain old Python shell only. Clear? Bus the same interactive Python shell has been like उसको नए कपड़े पहना दिए. ठीक है? Understood? Everyone clear?
Yes, Sumit.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
now you know what is IPython and everything. Now there is one more program that you will need to install, which is VS Code. This is that program, and you will create one folder for your when you will be working and you want to test out something yourself. You want to like do the homeworks that I'll be giving you from time to time and things like that. You create one folder on your PC at any location. Okay, then after installing VS Code, that how to install it and everything, you will get a video for that. Okay, so once you are done with the installation and once you are done with creating that folder where you will be writing your test code and storing all your test files, you will come here and you will click on file. Okay, and you will use the option add folder to workspace. Once you do that, it will open something like this, and wherever navigate to your particular folder and just click on that and add. Okay, so it will get added like this, as you can see here, and inside this you can add new files. Okay, like I'm going to create one file called one init or initialization or whatever .py. Okay, now this will create a Python script. .py files create a Python script. Now we are going to like the IPython shell that we saw here. The problem with this is like once you're done running all these lines of code and everything, you get your outputs and all. This like whenever you will close this, all this will go away. Okay, so that's one problem. So to solve that, we can use VS Code, where you can create a special kind of file which is called, I'll show it to you. It's called IPyNB. What does it stand for? IPython notebook. So it's IPython only, but it's a notebook form. Okay, so what it does is you can like write your Python code lines, you can see your output, but like even if you close the file, those outputs and whatever commands you insert or whatever lines of code you wrote, they will not go away, they will be saved. Clear? So here also like I can do 5 plus 5 and run this. Okay, and you will get your output. But even if I like this file is currently unsaved, that's why you see that dot there. Once I do Control S, this file is saved, and even if I close this, like it still stays. Okay, understood? Clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now
So whatever we type will record.
Yeah, it will record, and if you want to delete it, you can obviously use this option. It will delete this complete cell and it's
No
output.
need to save every time we finish a code, right?
Yeah, like if you're making changes to the file at the end, you have to do Control S so that it gets saved, obviously. Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
Can you tell us again what we have to install, or if you can provide us the link and step-by-step guide, because it is completely new.
Yeah. There is a complete video series on how to install all these programs. Okay. Uh, like, have you got access to your portals where videos will be shared with you?
Yes, sir. The live portal.
Yeah. On that portal, I will be like in one go. I will put probably 7-8 videos for all the installations. Clear? What all installations you have to do. So you
So
have
besides the
like
classes, besides the
yeah.
classes, do we have to? I mean, can you tell us some topics which will gain us better understanding of other topics we are
Yeah,
studying?
I'll keep sharing. I'll keep sharing whatever resources and whatever homework you need to do from time to time. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Amit, another side.
Yes.
So this is which kind of the application I'm just talking about. You said is
Yeah,
VS, right?
VS Code is from Microsoft.
Okay. So we will not be using the PyCharm, right? We have PyCharm as well.
Yeah. You can use PyCharm if you already have worked with it. I have no issues. Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so similar, there won't be any changes, right, in the in terms of syntaxes, right? For the codes, right?
Yeah. The code itself, there is no difference. Okay.
Okay, sure.
It's just that like VS Code, you will find it more simpler to use and like more futuristic. Like it has a lot of extensions and everything where people are like writing very good extensions and all, which generally you don't get with PyCharm to that extent.
Oh, got it. Okay. Thanks, Amit.
Yeah, so you just search for VS Code and you will get this option, download for Windows, and it will get downloaded and basic installation. Just check all options wherever you see any options to be checked while installation. Check all of those and it will get installed. Very simple. You want to do this first, but don't do this before installing Python. Okay, otherwise you will ask me a lot of doubts. So don't download. You can download it, but don't install it before you install Python on your PC. So for that, you just watch that video series that I will be posting in your this thing in your accounts, and just go through that. Do the installations one by one in that same order, and you should be good. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other doubt before we wrap up?
Amit, sorry.
Yeah.
A quick question, actually. Apart from this, like basic configuration or basic, I would say practice, we will definitely do on our PC. But what about the vmanage? Like, as my understanding, it.
Yeah, I'm also going to access it. I'm also going to access it from Cisco DevNet only. Like they have sandboxes there. Okay, in the sandbox you can book the sandboxes, and you can get access to that.
And it will be free for us.
Yeah. It will be free. You just need to create an account. Okay. Let me see.
So there's no need to download any big package or big iOS images.
No.
Thanks.
No, normally sandbox is very light.
Yeah, no, actually it is hosted on their website only. You nothing. You don't have to do anything special. Okay. You just need to download that Cisco VPN client, and you will be on the same network as the as the devices. Okay. Clear?
Yeah. Thanks.
So it will show, the sandboxes will show up. Like if I quickly show you. Catalyst center is DNA center. This is SD-WAN. Okay. So there are two of them. One is reservable. One is always on. This is the reservable one. So if I launch it, It will show you like all the different devices and everything. I don't want to poke it unnecessarily, but basically whatever email you use to log in, on that same email you will get the details to access it. I will discuss this in detail. Let's not jump the gun. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So all whatever, like how the connectivity is there and all those things will be
Oh.
explained to you.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay, fine then. If you don't have anything else, let's close and let's meet again on Tuesday.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks so much
Yeah.
for the session.
Yeah, in the next few days, just keep checking your account. I will try my best because tomorrow it's Saturday and Sunday. It can happen. It can go up till Monday that I am able to upload all those videos to set up your own environment. So because I might need support from the networking team, admin team, and if they're not available on Saturday, Sunday, it might go up till Monday. Okay, so other than that, I'll try to get it as soon as possible. But on Tuesday, you do these two basic tasks. I'm not asking too much from you. Just install Python, number one, and number two, install VS Code. Okay, so that you sort of are able to, get along with me.
Yeah, Amit, we should install PEEP as well.
Pip, as I told you again, it will automatically be installed once you install Python.
Okay.
So, Amit, Anand this side. So I
Yeah.
have PyCharm in my system now. So if I run VS, if I have a VS, so does it create any concern? Or it's fine?
I don't think so. No, I don't
Nothing,
think
right?
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll definitely install the VS then.
Yeah, but my guess is like when you'll start working with VS Code, you'll like it more than PyCharm.
Yeah, actually, I'm doing some. Just started to work on some Postman script for the ACI changes. So
Yeah.
just thinking to word with the thing Python as well, right?
Okay, nice. Okay then.